fishing, we vibing. Every cat's got that timing. JD fishing, we vibing. Perfect weather outside, so you know we grinding. JD fishing, we vibing. From the dock to the deep, we shining. JD fishing, keep vibing.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the video today. Today's video, we're doing a simple little breakdown talking about my recent tournament video that I posted fishing out at Comanche Creek, also known as Squaw Creek, out in Glen Rose, Texas. So if you haven't seen that video, do me a favor, hit that link up above, go back, watch that video. Leave a comment, do all this cute stuff over there, then hop back over here and let's engage in the conversation. So if you've already seen that video, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button, share this content with somebody, and then leave me a comment down below and let me know if any of the tips, tricks, techniques, or anything in this video were helpful to you and how you can apply them to your fishing journey for your 2026 season. So just a little bit about Comanche Creek. Comanche Creek is a part of the Comanche Peak nuclear power plant here in Texas, out in Glen Rose. And so typically this lake in the winter time is going to have more warmer water than most average lakes because the water is going through the power plant system and it's warming up the lake. And so this lake is it can be really clear in a lot of times. It doesn't really have much grass in the lake. So you're fishing a lot of rock, you're fishing a lot of timber, and just kind of really just trying to find fish throughout the lake. It does have grass, but it's not as much as you would like to see on most lakes. This particular lake, it's home to your normal species: black bass, largemouth, which are largemouth, crappie, brim, perch, and this lake also has tilapia out there on the lake, right? So that's a little wrinkle that you got to kind of consider when you're fishing out on this lake, as tilapia being a potential bait fish that these bass are going to feed on and they're going to go after. So before we get into the fishing day, I just want to say this. So I was going through and I was reviewing the footage on this, and I'm like, yo, my people don't really love me the way that they say that they do. Because got up that morning for the tournament, I showered, brushed my teeth, got all my stuff, got my breakfast, got everything ready to go to my partner's house. And it's cold, so I went to put on my fishing bib. And when I put on my fishing bib, it occurred to me, granted, it's cold, I got layers on, but yeah, that bib was a little snug.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the...
it was a little tight. And so I was like, oh, I'll make it through the day. So unfortunately, I didn't make it through the day without any accident. So I ended up hooking up on a fish, knelt down to measure the fish, and I heard a rip.
When I ripped my pants.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. Yes. I ripped my bib. I ripped it. And I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. And it was cold outside and you could feel the wind kind of blowing up in that area when I was fishing. I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. So just a little bit about the lake and we'll get into the fishing, right? So just a little bit about the lake. So this lake they only allow 150 boats a day there. I think we were in line, and me and my partner, we were probably boat number 144, 145 in line. We got there kind of late after most guys in the club kind of got there. I know some guys had been there since 3:30, 3 in the morning. And so they were able to get on the water way before us. Some people, by the time we got on the water, because me and my partner didn't get on the water, fully launched and everything, to about 8:35, 8:40, we ran into a couple guys. These guys were already culling because the tournament started at 6:30, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, we got to put our head down. We have to, can't play around, really got to fish. But while we were sitting in the car, I was watching a little bit of the Major League Fishing guys out on Gunnersville fishing. and I was watching them going through, and I was like, hey, you know, I got a couple of these baits in my bag. Let me just try them out and see how they work. The first bait that I caught a fish on, which is this, is the Ducket Sway Minnow. Ducket Sway Minnow right here. So I tied that onto a jig head and cast that out. And I'm just twitching my bait, just walking my bait, swimming it right back to me, to the boat. And so what I was looking at out there on the lake, like I said, they don't have much grass. There's a lot of rock and there's a lot of timber. So a lot of times when you're fishing lakes like this, what you really want to hone in and lock into is you want to look for depth changes and changes in the water. So when the water may come up to like a hump and then drop back down, or you know what I mean, you're gonna get like a creek channel or something that's gonna run through there. So I was looking at the graph and just kind of going through there, and I was looking for just those depth changes that I was seeing out there, right? So if you don't know, I fish as a co-angler. I'm at the back of the boat. You know what I mean? And the guy that I fished with, there was no live scope on the boat. So you know, you got the guys that talk about don't throw a minnow, don't throw a minnow, four faces on all that good stuff like that. You know what I mean? Your Randy Blockage of the world. They don't want you to throw any kind of minnow baits on four faces, scoping and all that. Hey, I was not scoping. I was just hoping. And so I threw that out, and I'm looking at what I was able to see. And on the 360, I was able to see that there were a lot of beds that were around. Because the water is warmer on this particular lake, these fish will typically spawn earlier than the average lake. So I could see some beds on the 360, and I was just kind of pitching through there. So initially I was throwing in the inside of those bed areas, just bringing it across. Was not getting any bites on that. So I moved from throwing it right inside to just on the edge of these tree lines, on the edge of those beds that I could see on a 360. And I was able to pick up this first fish that I caught that day. So I was like, hey, cool, got a fish. Not cool. Very next, I mean, maybe 3-4 casts after that, I hit a tree and I went to pop it out. And when I went to pop it out, line snapped. And I'm like, oh, well, who cares? I got plenty more bait. So bait. And instead of tying back on the sway minnow, I tied on another minnow style bait that I wanted to use. And it was this one. This is the Crush City Mooch minnow. And I tied this bait on. And I tied that bait on, doing the same thing, looking for those depth changes, finding those spots. And so we kind of moved away from where those beds were a little bit. And I found an area where there was a slight depth change where the water got a little deeper and then it shot up just really, really quick. And I cast that bait, just walking it back, bang, hooked into the second fish for the day. Unfortunately, that fish had to get tossed back because it was a little baby. So, I mean, if you follow my channel, you know, sometimes we can be babysitting. We can have a daycare. And yeah, this day was one of those days we were having a little daycare. We were catching a bunch of small ones. Last bait that I was throwing this day, threw this on the Texas rig. If you guys have been following my channel, you know that I throw this particular bait a lot. Not as much as the guy that I was fishing with. If you know the guy I was fishing with, he throws this bait all day, all night, non-stop. I don't care if fish are biting top water. I don't care if they're biting crankbaits. I don't care if they biting swim baits, whatever. He is going to throw this all day, non-stop, and he's going to catch fish. But this is all he's going to throw. And this right here is a Zoom brush hog, right? And this particular bait, I was throwing it in the Alabama crawl color, and I just had it on a Texas rig. With a weighted Texas rig, just throwing it around, letting this bait sink to the bottom and just dragging it across some rocky areas. And I was able to pick a fish up off of that, right? So really this particular day, it was more minnow baits. They were chasing bait for a little bit, and then they were sitting close to the bottom as the day kind of progressed. So, I mean, it was a day we were fishing post frontal conditions. I was anticipating you know what I mean, that the sun was going to come out, which the sun did. As soon as we got on the water about 9:15, 9:20, sun starts coming out. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to be able to take some of these layers off. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about this tight bib that I'm wearing. I'll be good. Well, maybe about 30 minutes, them clouds rolled in and it got cold. And so I had to keep all of that on and just kind of rock with that and just kind of keep it on. And yeah, man, it got really cold out there on the water. So I had to make some adjustments in my fishing. We went to one side of the lake and I mean, I couldn't find a bite, couldn't find fish. It got really windy. And so it was just not a good point. I think if maybe we would have fished it and when we fished that part of the lake, if I started throwing a different bait than what I was throwing, I ain't gonna tell you what I was throwing, but what I was throwing at that point, I think maybe I could have caught a couple fish in those areas in hindsight. But you know, I think just didn't maximize on that. I know what to do and prepare for it in the next tournament, but I just didn't do that. Right. So these were the baits that I was throwing: the sway, the Duckett sway minnow, the Crush City mooch minnow, and the Zoom baby brush hog and the Alabama crawl color, right? So these are the three baits that I was throwing. If you want to go see how I was throwing those even more, you can go back to the last video, check that video out. But these were the baits that I was using, right? So just for me, I finished this tournament. In me and my partner, we were just outside the money in 4th place. I think for Angler of the Year, it put me right inside of the top 10 for our club. I'm sitting in 9th place right now. So it's not really bad, but not where I want to be quite yet. If you know our club, our top 6 get to represent the club in a state tournament. And so last year I was able to place in the top 6. So hopefully, I believe it's this year, I'll be representing our club at our state tournament this year. But you know, I want to compete for that, being a top 6 again. I finished 3rd last year. This year, I want to try to compete for the Angler of the Year spot. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a grind, especially as a non-boater. I think one of the challenges as a non-boater, which is always, I mean, you don't have as much input on where you're gonna go. You don't, you know what I mean? You don't know. A lot of times you don't know where you're gonna go, what's going to happen. I mean, you and your partner can come up with a game plan all day, but sometimes as a boater, you know, they may see something, feel something different because they're trying to catch fish as well. And you have to make adjustments, you know, and that's one of the biggest things that I'm learning and I'm embracing even more as a co-angler is your ability to make adjustments. Man, there have been times where, I mean, I had everything rigged up and I was ready to go. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to throw this. I'm going to do this. And we get to the lake and we find ourselves in a different area. And I got to go in that tackle box and cut and retie something else on. And it's like, and I figure out a way to catch fish. And I think that is one of the biggest things if you want to fish tournaments, if you want to be successful in your tournament journey. The biggest thing I can tell you is figure out a way to trigger the fish in those areas and get those fish to bite, right? And so fortunately, that's what I was able to do. It was a tough day. I mean, I was able to bring 4 fish to the scale. It was a tough day. You know what I mean? I think those 4 fish were I think I've had about 6 pounds or so. So it wasn't anything crazy, but it was a few guys out there who only had 1 or 2 fish. Some guys didn't have any in this tournament. So I think this particular tournament, man, it's just it was a cool way to get started, got me situated, got me set up for the year. So this is just a little conversation that I want to have with you guys. We're going to do some more of these things post tournaments where I kind of give you guys a more in-depth look at the baits that I was using and just kind of have some fun conversation around it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to the video today. Don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button, share this content with somebody, but then also do me a favor, leave a comment down below and tell me that you enjoy the conversation, right? And don't forget, once we hit 500 on the channel, we're going to do a giveaway. And the only way you can be entered to the giveaway is you must be a subscriber. And we're going to talk about all the details and all of that once we hit 500 on this channel. So, hey, the faster we get there, the faster somebody gets this prize. So, hey, share this content, share the page, share something. Till next time, I love y'all. Peace out. Be safe out on the water. Stay warm. And, boy, if you don't Yeah, don't wear no little bibs out there on the water. See y'all next time. Let's go.
JD fishing, we vibing. Every cat's got that time. JD fishing, we vibing. Perfect weather outside, so you know we grinding. We vibing. From the dock to the D, we shining. JD fishing, keep riding.